Welcome everyone to our first live Zoom for self-retightnings. We're going to be talking today to a few of the sisters who want to share some of their expertise and experience with regard to retightnings. Everyone knows that I am a big proponent of God bless the child who's got his own. I really believe in taking a real active role in your hair and knowing what's going on with your hair and not putting your hair or your destiny in the hands of someone else. So without further ado, let's get into it with the lovely Miss Shay, the lovely Mrs. Dee, Mrs. Armada. I want to give a shout out to the lovely Priscilla, who will not be with us this evening because her husband is in the hospital. Priscilla, our thoughts and prayers, my thoughts and prayers go out to you. We wish your husband a speedy recovery. And Ali, we missed you this time. We know you got to work. We'll catch you on the flip side. We definitely hope to get you in on one of these live Zoom sessions again in the future. Without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to Tunisia's Locs, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin Magic brand. Thank you for stopping by. Experience the I Am Melanin Magic difference by going to our website, www.IamMelaninMagic.com, and purchasing your products today. I am Melanin Magic, and so are you. I Am Melanin Magic's fragrance bombs are explosive. Get your charcoal. Make sure you heat it on a heat source long enough so that the charcoal turns gray on all four sides before you place any of the incense, bahor, or unsi on top of the charcoal. Take a small piece, if not the entire ball, take a small piece of your fragrance bomb. And as you break off that small piece, place it on the gray charcoal and enjoy the concentrated aromatics, fragrances, and natural ingredients. Our fragrance bombs are the bomb. Use in a ventilated area and use when you need fragrance all over your space. Feminize and romanticize. I Am Melanin Magic.
This meeting is being
why
recorded.
we need these self-retightnings and why it's important to maybe consider retightening your own hair if you aren't already a retightener, or maybe at least learning how to retighten your own hair so that if the time ever comes and you need to be someone to do your own hair and know your way around your own hair, you can be in that category and not be kind of down the river without a boat or without a paddle, in a canoe without a paddle. So I think that is really important. And so we have a couple of ladies who have agreed to participate tonight in giving you some tips about how to do these reties, or answering questions that you may have, or helping you to maybe understand the importance of it, or something else related to the topic of doing your own retightnings. We have Miss Dee, who's been on the channel before, of Gold Locs, and then we have Miss Armada, who has been here since day one here on the channel. Her and Miss Shay both. They'll let you know who they are and introduce themselves. I want to thank all of you ladies, and then we're just going to go ahead and dig in, and we're going to try to audience and sisters, keep our stuff down to about 10 to 12 minutes, and then we want to allow you to jump in. If you have something you want to share, please share. There are just not enough good commentary that we can get. There could be something you say that none of us remember to say. And then if you have a question, again, just let us know. When you begin to talk, you're going to show up as the feature face. As long as everyone else is quiet, the person that's talking will be the only person whose face that we see. And just make sure that your mute is off. As long as your mute is off, we won't be able to hear background noise. But if you decide you want to talk and say something, just unmute yourself, okay? All right, ladies, let's go ahead and dig in. Miss Dee, will you start us off?
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you so much, Tunisia. I thank you so much for having me on your platform. This is always fun and amazing for me. Hello, beautiful ladies, beautiful women. wherever you are in this world, this place, this great place that we are able to connect. You know, we love technology for things just like this. I love it just for this because everybody's in different places, but yet we're all in the same space. So I want to say thank you. I'm Dee Dee. My company is Locs, and I'm here based in Los Angeles, California. And I'm originally from New York, so I actually came to California in February of 2020. So right before everything shut down is when I came to California, and I ended up connecting with a hairstylist, a loctician, and it seemed like everybody started locking their hair around that time. And while they were locking their hair, the particular hairstylist I connected with, she was really big on education, not just retightening and you know how to do locks. And we did everything. We did everything from the Sisterlocks, the Microlocks, and also traditional locks. So we did everything. But one thing that was really big was educating clients on what to do with their hair and how to do it. So one thing that I learned a lot, and I love that Tanisha says the same thing, is you have to know your hair. I'm a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist for over 20 years, but I haven't been doing your hair for over 20 years. So you need to know what your hair likes, how your hair functions, what's best for your hair. You have to now actually, as I'm educating my clients, they are also educating me on their hair and their hair needs, because I don't know everything. I know technique, and that's what I think a lot of times we fail to realize. Hairstylists and professionals, they know technique, but I might not know what works best for you. If you spent all this time and you've done your hair for all these years and going through trial and error, you might know something different that now you must educate me on. And so since we're talking about retights, the one thing I know for a fact is the salon that I worked at, we dealt with a lot of clients that after the damage was done, they ended up with us. So what that means is they got the fun styles, they got the retights every 6 to 8 weeks. They did the tight, they did the retights, then they did the updos and the knots and the faux hawks and all these beautiful styles. Looks amazing, but it was too much pressure on the hair, and it was too much pressure on the scalp. And then when your hair is pulled like that, just with the retight alone, and then you twist it up and knot it and put it in these designs, now you have put stress on top of stress. So what we would see is when they would take it down, now they're losing hair. Like the locks have now kind of popped out of the follicles because of how tight it was retight and then twisted up into another style. So the one thing I would say is with retightening, you need to know how often your hair grows. Some people's hair grow fast in the winter or summer, whatever it is. Know your hair, and then also know your sections. Maybe the front doesn't grow as fast as the middle and the back. So maybe I don't need to retight the front as often as I'm retightening the middle and the back. You want to pay attention to that. It's like we look at the head as this whole piece, but if one section is growing longer or faster or slower than another, pay attention to that. So know your hair, educate your stylist on your hair, and then as well as know how often your hair needs to be retightened and what section needs to be retightened. Because I've seen it a lot where because the person is sitting in the chair, they just retighten everything, but everything might not need to be retightened. And then the other challenge I've seen is when you retighten, and especially in the Sisterlock community, you know, we have the rotations and what you're supposed to do and all that kind of thing. But if I can't get that fourth one in, stop. Don't try to make it where it has to be those 4 that if I don't get all 4 in, then it's not a Sisterlock. Who told you that? It makes no logical sense whatsoever. So I'm going to pull it so tight that now I can see the skin. Like, you know how you can see the scalp pulp? It's bulging. Just so I can get that 4th rotation in? That's ridiculous. So we have to know when to stop and also listen to the education of the client. If the client says it's too tight for them, it's too tight for them. You don't get to tell them as a stylist, oh, it's not tight. I'm not feeling tight. If they're feeling it's tight, it's tight. So I've recognized that listening to your client and then having a heart to know what is too much, that helps me be a better loctician and be able to help people achieve their hair goals and actually retain their hair, because nobody wants their hair to grow and look full and glorious to one day never have any hair later because of the practices that we've done, you know, up until that point. That just makes no sense.
Right.
So that's where I'm gonna stop.
Hey, just to comment, I want to comment on something that you said, and just to say something to you. I'm feeling as though you are more the exception than the rule. You're presenting a very elevated way of interacting with your client that doesn't seem to be the run-of-the-mill way that the majority of people are being dealt with. I hear you saying, listen, I'm going to individualize and customize this process. If the front of your hair is growing like crazy and the back isn't, maybe we don't need to do the back right now. In fact, I'm going to listen to what you have to say about your own particular hair care journey, and that's going to supersede anything that's not just my technique, because you know better. I just gotta say, that's amazing. I think that's wonderful. I haven't had that experience.
And like I said, that came from the stylist that I work with. She was really big into education. And like I said, working with her, especially since the shutdown happened, so many people were coming to us after the damage was already done. So that was something that she implemented in me. I mean, I did that on my own, but she really reiterated it. Like, we can't keep letting our beautiful women and their lovely locks keep falling off and dropping to the ground because we're not paying attention to how they should be retightened.
Right.
I really, really love that. I really love that. And we'll come back to you, Miss Dee Dee, because I'm taking some notes. But ladies, I wanted to get to Armeda and Shay first, and then leave it open to you all to ask whatever questions you have. I want them to get it out. Some of them may actually answer some of the questions, but Miss Shay, can you chime in and let us know who you are, where to find you, and tell us a little bit about what you want to contribute to today's discussion?
Yeah, so hi, I am Shay, and I'm from Chicago, but I moved to Cincinnati, Ohio. I thank you, Ms. Tanisha, for having me on your platform for the first time. I really appreciate it. This is wonderful. Yes, yes, yes. So,
Hi.
Dee Dee already nailed it. That was the same information I was going to give, but she already nailed it. She already said what she needed to say. She's right about that. You know, a lot of times, you know, you have retight, you know, even my clients, I educate them. It's their hair, just like they said, it's their hair. They have a routine that they go by when it's their hair. All I ask for them to do is just make sure they don't use any type of conditioner, any type of shampoos that's going to leave build up.
Okay.
Everybody else's name is everyone. Did you hear me?
Yeah, build up.
Make sure
Yes.
your excuse me, participants, just make sure your mics are muted in the background. I'm sorry, go ahead, Miss Shay. I want you to continue, please.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so Dee Dee nailed it. She nailed it right on the head. I don't do my clients retightnings tight. I took the class, the Sisterlock class in 2020, but my cousin had already had Sisterlocks in 1996. So that was something that I wanted to do anyway for a long, long period of time. But I don't do my clients retightenings. It's barely to the scalp, you know.
Your camera stalled a bit.
Leave a little bit up. None of my clients don't. Some of my clients came with transfer clients. I get a lot of transfer clients. I get a lot of transfer clients that has repairs, need repairs done. There's only 2 people here in Ohio, I believe, that does repairs on Locs. So it's kind of hard to, you know, for people to find people who does repairs. I'm really good at it. And so, yeah, Dee Dee, she nailed it.
Okay.
There's nothing else I'm able to say. She nailed it.
We'll come back to you, Ms. Shay, because I know we have some questions. I know I definitely have some too, but I really appreciate what you're talking about in this terms of those rotations and how you don't set out to go tight and you know when enough is enough. Because y'all hear me talk on the channel a lot. That's a big issue.
Yes. Yes.
Miss Armeda.
Hey, Tanisha. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm good. My name's Armeda Williams. I've been at the Sisterlock game since 2015. So it was rough. I'm coming from the point of view as a client, and I'm glad Dee Dee's here today to give us the type of pointers that we really need as clients. these are the questions we should be asking, and this is what we should expect. Her thought pattern and the way she perceives how people feel about their hair and tightenings and how far to go and when to stop. I wish all locticians had that thought pattern. I'm in Vallejo, California, Northern California. I had Sisterlocks in 2015. I still have them. I have just been doing them myself. I came upon that process, and I don't want anyone to ever be afraid to tell their loctician, you know, when they go through your hair, go behind them. Married locks that weren't there before, thinning locks, point it out to them. And if they continue to cause you trauma or worry or doubt in their skill and listening to you, don't be afraid to ever say to them, you know, I'd rather seek service elsewhere, because I think that's what saved my hair. I was at a point about two and a half to almost 3 years in, and had to step away from my loctician on my side. I just sent her a note to say, you know, thank you for your services, but I'll contact you. And what drove me to that is to say to her, you know, this is too tight. You know, I would come in every 6 weeks and I would be like, no. And I felt that she was just doing it too tight. I would go home, my scalp would be sore. And I'd go to sleep and I'd be uncomfortable, can't sleep because it's too tight. Whenever you feel that, you definitely know that's not how it's supposed to, you're not supposed to feel that ever. So I told her goodbye. And from that point, I want you guys to know too, don't ever be afraid to ask your loctician information about what are they doing to your head, what's the rotation, or even have them show you. And that's the one thing I liked about the loctician I had was whenever I might be in a pinch or she might not be able to make her appointment, I had her show me. Of course, some locticians like to charge for that, but I had her teach me the rotations, and I would do a part of my head and come back to her and have her critique the work that I did, so that when I got on my own, I didn't have to worry of whether I was doing it wrong or right, and I could take as much time as I wanted, and I knew it wasn't going to be tight. And so I've been doing my hair ever since then for the past 4 years.
You got mute.
And
Oh, no.
and he
Maybe
said,
you still there.
I'm still here.
Ladies, did you want to
Oh,
continue,
yeah,
Ms. Armada, or
yeah.
were you bringing it to a close? I hear a
Yeah,
phone.
I'm
See if
about
I
to
can
bring it
mute.
to
See who's muting. I'm sorry. I hear something, but I'm not sure whose mic it is.
And I just wanted to let the ladies know, don't ever be afraid to speak up for yourself. Your hair is precious. Your hair is like no one else. All of us have a different fingerprint. It's like our hair. Take care of it.
Ms. Armada, give me a second. I'm hearing background noise. I want to try to mute this out without having to mute.
That was Miss Tanisha. That was Linda Pendergrass, I believe.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Armada, unmute yourself now. I muted you two to unmute everybody. Unmute yourself now and see if
Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
I just want to say your hair is precious. Don't ever put so much trust in the person that's doing your hair that you don't know when to stop and take accountability for your own head, and just leave that responsibility to them. It's up to us to speak for ourselves and speak to our locticians to say, question, why does this look like, why is this lock looking like this? Why does it hurt so much? Can you retighten one less turn, or can you come in an extra week? So I changed it out to now do my hair every 10 weeks. I wait 10 weeks before I go on and retighten it, sometimes longer, just depend on the growth pattern. But yeah, I say it's a great thing to do it yourself if you can, if you're able, if you're physically able to do, and start slow, start little. Take a little tiny bit, a real tiny small piece of lock and just start growing from there. and you have time is yours. So take that time and learn how to do one lock at a time, and you'll find yourself getting faster and better. But it just takes time and patience with yourself.
I love that. I love that. Ladies, chime in. If you want to ask a question, go ahead and ask of Miss Dee Dee, Miss Armado, or Miss Shay. If you have particular questions, let us know too as you begin to ask your questions. If you are someone that's already doing your own retightnings, or if you are someone that is on the fence and about to decide to begin to do your own retightnings. Miss Carla, go ahead. I see your hand.
Unmute myself.
Okay, darling.
Hi, I am a DIY microlocker. And just in listening to the discussion about the tightness, I just wanted to share something that I just did this morning. I finished my retightening yesterday, and just this morning woke up and my hair was in certain places much tighter than what I thought it was. And there was some soreness there. Now, I watch your channel all the time, Tanisha, and one of the things that we share as a focus is not doing the retightening too tight. But one thing I also picked up from listening to other DIYers and people in, starting to do their own retightenings is that it was better to dampen your hair and do the retightenings than to do it dry. And I had been doing mine dry. So the first time, for the first time, I did my retie dampening my roots. And I finished late and I woke up and felt tightness and soreness. And what I did was I tried redampening my hair again. So figuring the water would loosen it up and it would help with the tightness and the soreness. It just really helped a little bit, but what I really realized in feeling my roots and going through trying to figure out, I know I didn't do it that tight, or I obviously did it tighter than I thought, but realizing if you dampen your hair when it dries, especially if you have tighter coiled hair, like I'm 4C DFG element of P over here. So when I dampen my hair, it loosens up, but when it dries, it tightens up.
Right.
And my kinks and coils are tight. So I underestimated what that difference would be in retightening my hair when my roots and hair is damp and it dries, it's going to get tighter. And the tighter your coils are, the more tightening is going to happen as your hair dries. Now, the second thing I realized in feeling in my roots and trying to figure out what was going on was I really realized with us self-retightening, we use the tool, and that tool in going around making that 4-point rotation, you're twisting the lock and you're twisting your hair. So contrary to when someone else is working on your hair with the tool where they're sticking the tool in and adding the lock in and pulling the lock through, the lock is not getting twisted around and you don't have that effect. But when you're using a self-retightening tool and you're moving your hand, doing the rotations, you're actually twisting your locks. And that's also adding tightness to it. So when it dries, that's another degree of tightness that I didn't realize was going to be there in dampening my hair versus when I'm doing it dry and there's not that change or difference. So what I did when I wet my hair was I also just literally went to the sore spots, took the base of the lock and just twisted it counter to my clockwise rotation. And I tell you, it helped. I have no more tightness and I have no more soreness. So I redampen. If you're in a situation where you're doing your self-retie and you just end up with your hair being tighter than what you realized you were tightening your hair to be with the self-retightening process, either you can let go of that tool at points, and some of you that have done it before may realize it'll kind of do a counter twist, itself. Or you can do it after to take away some of that tightness that might end up being there that you might not realize was there. So just this morning, I did that redamp and then just took the ones that were problem and just twisted them counter to the way I do my rotation, and it solved the tightness in my hair. And I just wanted to share that because I know there's going to be some ladies that are going into the self-retightening. And even though I've been doing mine for 6 months and doing my own retightening, it was the first time I did it damp when I had been doing it dry. So I just wanted to share that in case any other ladies or any other viewers end up with that situation, to just be aware of those things. And again, depending on your curl pattern, that difference in doing it dry or wet could be a little bit, or it could be more than you thought it would be.
Thank you, Miss Carla. Let me be clear. So what I hear you saying is, if you were to dampen your hair prior to the retightening, because the hair tends to be a little more flexible and pliable when we wetten it, when it dries, it's going to tighten in more, maybe a little more tight than what you expected, right? So
Yes.
are you saying to tighten it dry, or just to be conscious of that and just to kind of trial and error?
Well, the reason that I did the dampening was two suggestions from what I'd seen from others, was that if you dampen it and just take just the comb and just comb down those roots, again, with my 4C, it's just, you're less likely to have that looseness. It'll settle down, it'll be more pliable. And I really did have less. I think I had, out of my 360, I had one case of my tool grabbing just even a few hairs from somewhere else. So the dampening did help in that regard. And my hair was more pliable and easier, to work with. But at the same time, you have to keep in mind that you're going to have that difference. When I'm working dry, there's no change. You know what I mean? There's no difference. My hair is not loosening up. That's what makes it more pliable. That's what gets it to lay down, is when you wet it, it loosens up, and it makes it less susceptible to you grabbing other locks. When you comb it down and put that clip in and clip it down, it stays down. And in fact, when I took the clip out, it would just still, have the mold of the clip and stay down. So it really did help and work in that regard. But there's a pro and con, to almost everything you do. And I just wanted to share that on the con side, because it's not things that I had considered in doing that.
Do you use, Miss Carla?
I'm sorry?
What kind of tool do you use to retighten?
Well, I'm going to share that too. I saw I think it was 2 years ago, you did the 3 tools, and then last year you did the 6 tools, and then right before I did my hair, I saw your 11 tools. So I have a collection of hair tools now. Most of them you had shown me, and I wanted to try them. But I also had some challenges because I have short hair. So some of them worked when I initially did my locks, and I had 6 inches of hair that I started with. But as I did each wash and my hair shrank and shrank, the popular interlock tools just did not work anymore. And I had to order some of the ones that you had recommended and demonstrated, and find, what worked for my length of hair, and I didn't want to use the plastic ones because I didn't like how plastic felt in my hair. But I use Enums. I found Enums on Etsy, and I use their Microlock tool, and I also use the Loxanity tool that you showed us.
Do you mind, Carla, putting that in the comments in the chat, in case a couple of the sisters aren't familiar with Enums?
Sure.
I know is maybe a household name, but I know the other one I don't think I'm familiar with. But I think the 2 shorter ones of the ones that I had talked about were the London lock tool and the nappy lock tool, the mini.
I have nappy locks and London locks, and I've literally done reties with each of those. and just, you know, the London Locks tool, it was hard for me to get it out of my locks. It would get snagged when I would try to get it out. But the Lock Sanity tool and the Enum's tool is the ones for my short hair, or the two that I kind of go back and forth with in different parts of my hair.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you. Miss Sheila has a question. Miss Sheila, you can unmute and you can speak with us and ask whomever you want to ask a question to, if you can hear me.
I hear you.
Okay. Hi, Miss Sheila.
Hi, Tanisha. I don't know if I had a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, question,
Okay.
comments, whatever you want to do. You got it.
Okay. So Tanisha knows for a very long time that I have gone through some, you know, highs and lows in regards to my locks and stuff like that. But one thing that I'd like to say on this that I really wish I understood more before I started my lock journey, that your hair, and I think one of the ladies said it too, maybe the first one, your hair is your hair. It acts the way it's gonna act. When you put locks, it's not gonna fix those issues. My hair falls out when I'm stressed. You know what I mean? In the winter time, sometimes my hair is so much drier, I have breakage. All these things I didn't think would transfer to when I had locks, because I felt like when I got locks, I'm like, you have locks, you just do whatever you want in a lot of ways. I got really lazy and I paid the price. I'm sorry, I saw someone write something. I was like, what? I paid the price for it, you know, losing locks, not really paying attention to what locticians and what they know and what I know. I mean, I was lucky. I didn't start with Sisterlocks, I started with Microlocks, and my loctician was wonderful and maybe in certain ways spoiled me because I just thought all locticians were like that. She started my lock.
I wasn't on mute. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
You needed that because that was right. Yay to peanut gallery.
But I'm like, oh, I had to learn that from like how many locks falling out later and all these things I've realized about my hair versus like what you should be asking from a loctician. Because I moved from New York to Maryland, Baltimore to be specific. And I know that was like the mecca of, you know, locks. You know, a lot of people have locks out here. So I was just like, every loctician should be the best. And boy, Tanisha knows there are times I've sent her long texts, like practically crying via text, like, I lost more locks. I'm gonna cut them off. I'm not gonna cut them off. I'm gonna cut them off. I'm not gonna cut them off. So it's been a ride. It's just been a long ride. And that's all I had to say, guys. I'm sorry. I just had to vent.
Reminder, Sheila, that point about, because we have a tendency to think, especially with these natural hairstyles, that the problems we had before are going to just miraculously disappear, or you forget that you knew your hair before you had these locks. So
Exactly.
you know your hair better than anybody. Like I knew I need oil in my hair, like period. I needed it before, I needed it when I was natural. So that's what I'm going to need for my hair now. So I think that's important just to keep those things in mind. That's really a good point. Yeah.
And not shameless plug, and I'm not just saying this, but like I said, a lot of locks falling out, a lot of whatever. And I did purchase Tanisha's oil when she had the, not the serum, the oil first, and started using that. And I gotta tell you, it made such a difference. It made such a difference when I used the oil. I am melanin. That like changed it. And I started watching Tanisha's videos and I started asking questions. And now that has inspired me to continue my journey and not cut all of these off just yet. And I have locks missing, by the way, guys, a lot of locks missing.
But your hair, it looks
The
good.
hair is growing. Huh?
Your hair's come a long way. It looks good.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna give up. I invested a lot on these, and it was maybe sort of, I'm not gonna blame it all on the loctician, but also on me. I'm taking accountability for just being kind of like, yeah, this should be fine. All these years of me braiding my hair myself, getting weaves and stuff, I just was tired, ladies. When I found out someone else could just do my hair and I could just come in and they just get on, I was happy about that. and that it would look the same, I was happy. And maybe I got really lazy about it. So now I'm on my journey trying to get these healthier. I'm getting there. I was worse than before. I'm better now. And now I'm thinking about my own retightnings. I'm slow to it. Yeah, I haven't retightened my hair myself yet. I did find a loctician who I was able to ask all those questions. She was able to answer them. She's very soft to the touch. I was like, oh yeah, your head does not have to be sore. I just got a retightening yesterday. I don't feel anything. I just know I got a retightening.
Oh, that's good, honey. You are loved.
That's awesome.
Ooh,
You
that's
know,
good.
and something she said to me yesterday, which I was just like, that's why I think I love you. She said, there was one, she was like, listen, there's a combined one that I had combined before. I'm about to cut it off. And I just want you to know. And I said, okay. And she goes, and I just really don't understand why a loctician wouldn't tell somebody if they're going to cut their lock and let them make that decision. She goes, I'm telling you, I think we should, but I want to tell you. And I just teared up a little bit.
Oh, because she care about my babies.
But I'm caring too, because she is saying things like, every time we go, she's acknowledging things like, oh, there's more hair growing here. What exactly are you doing? And I'll tell her, she's like, yes, keep doing that. You know your hair, you know, and she tells me that you know your hair and you know what it likes. So please continue doing what you're doing, because I do see a difference. And I was like, I am melanin, child, along with all, and not just the oil, ladies, the tips that Tanisha provides along with the oil, the other tips, like going through your hair methodically, feel for stuff. I never did that stuff, ever. And when you're washing your hair, like I rinse for so long now and I see the difference. I will be in that shower, there is no soap in my hair, quote, but I'm still rinsing. I'm still going through it. I'm still letting water, and that makes a difference too. And I didn't realize that.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss Sheila. I saw Miss Armada. Miss Armada, did you have something you wanted to say?
I think this is awesome for all of us to get together. I know that a lot of people, like Michelle was saying, it's like, I just put my trust and my faith in my loctician that they would do those things and tell me if they saw something wasn't right. But she's correct. Going through your scalp after every retightening, and even as a self-retie, you'll see changes in your hair as you go along over the years. And you'll need to know, okay, is this one I should just baby for a little while and see if it'll take care of itself? And, or is this one that I should combine with one next to it to help support it? So Tanisha, I want to thank you for also talking about combining, and maybe that's something that we as clients need to be in on too, not just leave it to the loctician.
Definitely. I agree. I've got two little locks. My hair in certain places, like my edges were always thinner, and at the very nape of my neck, right where that little bone is in the center, my hair was always thin there, even before I had the locks. And it's interesting because I don't know if y'all remember me saying early on in my journey, I had my loctician to separate some of my locks that were thick. So anyway, bottom line is I have two locks back here that are very thin. And the last time I went in, or are thinner, because they've always been a little thin. The last time I went in for my retightening, I asked her to take a look at them and to decide if she felt they were ready to be combined. They're not combined, but I did over the last 3 or 4 weeks really target them with that oil. And I noticed when I went through there today, because I take about 4 or 5 baths a week. And when you take baths, you get crazy, the hair, And so I went through and I noticed I got a lot of like new growth in that area. So that used to happen to me when I was starting locks or adding a couple up top. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna give this a couple of more retightenings. I may have enough new hair growth around here to keep those. But what I'm saying is if you start to notice some thinning in your hair, to me, what you want to do first or second is to make sure or to determine whether or not your hair can still grow in that area. Okay. And you know, it's one thing if you're dealing with something hormonal or something that you know is a problem for your hair and you're losing hair systematically throughout your hair. But a lot of times when the stress is taken off the hair, then the hair can bounce back. And so if you notice thinning, first do everything you can. I think it was Miss Sheila who talked about babying that area and see if you can't re-stimulate the growth, because if you can re-stimulate the growth, then you know it's a lock issue, or it's something to do with the retightening, or it's something to do with how you're caring for your hair, or something that more than likely you can actually control before you just kind of, you know, assume it's one thing or the other. See what you can't do to rule out maybe what is actually going on there. Miss Sheila, I see you. Is Miss Shay still on? I know Miss Shay was, I think I see down here, Miss Shay said her connection, her cell phone was giving her an issue. Miss Penny, where is Miss Penny? Miss Penny, where are you?
I'm right
Where are
here.
you?
My Wi-Fi is giving me. Hi. How are you? Can you hear me?
When?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Yes,
minute.
everyone can hear you.
Hold on, let me turn on the light. Let me turn on the
Already
light.
good to go.
I have a question, because I'm a DIY micro locker. My sister started them with braids, but I have a patch of hair in the center of my head that's just, it's always been a little kinkier, and it's sensitive, like it.
Miss Penny, we can't hear you. Maybe a bad connection. Miss D, if you're able, if we're able to hear, maybe you can give some feedback on that question. I'm just texting her.
Yeah, it sounded like she was alluding to that the hair was sensitive, and it's a little bit more curlier and more defined. So one of the things is to make sure, a lot of times we don't pay attention to it, but things can irritate the scalp. So it could be the last time you washed it, or sometimes it could be you didn't wash it soon enough. What people don't understand is we treat our scalp as if it's not part of the skin. So we'll go extreme amount of times without cleansing the scalp. So a lot of times people don't recognize I can cleanse my scalp without ever washing my hair. When I wash my hair, my scalp gets cleansed, but my scalp needs to be cleansed at all times. Like, you have to keep it clean. So by that, I mean, you can go in, you can have, I always use like little baby washcloths because they're soft, and you can put your witch hazel or whatever cleanser that you like that's mild, and just go over that scalp, and you'll see the dirt and oils that'll come up just from that. So sometimes there could be things that's blocking, because anytime you feel pain or irritation, that's usually a form of inflammation, and inflammation usually means something's blocking it and it's causing it to swell. And when you feel that swelling from that inflammation, that's where the pain comes from. So you want to make sure, first and foremost, is that area cleansed enough to make sure that there is, to get rid of any level of tenderness. And then also styling. Are we styling our hair where, is that a point where it gets pulled a little bit too much, or is it because of the coarser, tighter curls, are we tightening it too tight that we're feeling that? And I see Penny's back on, so she can go ahead and tell us.
Can you hear us? We lost you there. We were trying to carry on, but we lost you. Can you hear us? If you can you finish asking that question, Miss Penny? I think you might be in and out again. I think it's
Yes, freezing.
it's freezing on us, Miss Penny.
Please keep speaking on the scalp. Please.
There it is.
Thank you.
There it is. Can you hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yes, we hear you. We hear you.
Okay.
Scalp
Okay,
care,
so my
to make sure
question
you have
was,
your hair good.
Oh.
Yeah. No, go ahead, because I don't want you to freeze on us. So I'm in a good place. So you go ahead.
oh, so I don't know what to do about the area that's keep thinning and breaking in the middle. I try to I think I need to wash more often. I do it about every 2 weeks, bi-weekly, but I don't know what to do. And of course, this helped a lot. My eye melon magic, it grows, but this section right here, I just don't know what to do.
Can you,
And I
Am I
you
freezing
broke
again?
up a
Oh
little
my-
bit. Excuse me, you broke up a little bit. Can you clarify again what's going on in that area? Are you saying you're losing hair or it's irritated? What were you saying?
It breaks off. So it breaks off at the base. So right now it is, you may not see it, it's super, super thin right here at the base. Like it'll grow, but it breaks off easily.
Have you had problems in that area before, or how long have you been having problems in that area?
I think that I've always had the problems in the area. I noticed that it has to be moisturized. Keeping it moisturized in your oil helps it, but it's not. However, I will say, now that I'm thinking about it, I've recently dealt with a little bit of stress and my appetite hasn't been right. So that may play a part. But in the past, it would still break out if that break off if that was a factor. So
When
I don't
you say
know.
moisturize, Penny, are you adding spray or water or something to it when you say moisturized, or what exactly are you doing for moisture?
I have a spray bottle with a little bit of aloe vera, this is distilled, and then after that I use the iron melanin magic.
Miss Dee Dee, what do you
Yeah.
think? What are your thoughts, Miss Dee Dee?
well, soon as she said stress, that was going to be my point. And you had asked her, does she have issues with that in the past? A lot of people, that is a stress point, period. Even when we see newborns, you can see their pulse right there in that spot. So that spot is very sensitive, it's very
Yeah.
tender. And anytime something goes on, that's like it literally is the pulse of your scalp. So you have to really take care of it. And so obviously you got to keep your stress level as much as you can. Find some me time to woosah and don't let it get to you, because it's
Yeah.
affecting your hair. Also, you want to make sure with the moisture, there's a little, depending on where you are and what the climate is, you want to make sure that the moisture is correct for that particular climate. Like a lot of times people think, oh, I can just use water, I can just use aloe, I can use whatever. Depending on the climate, you might need to use something different for said climate. Me being in California, in Southern California, it's very dry here. So I need something that's heavier. So aloe will work for me. Whereas if I'm back in New York or someplace that's more humid and the climate adds to it, then aloe might be a little bit too heavy. And then I can go to something lighter like a rose water or distilled water. So climate plays a huge part in how products affect our hair. So if you're in a very dry climate, you need something a little bit heavier. And if you're in a climate that has nice humidity and around the winter time as well, and it balances off, you might want to find a product that's not as heavy, because if you're putting the wrong thing in the hair, it can affect it the same way.
I love that. Let me add to that too. That's wonderful. I'm glad you mentioned that, because what you made me think of when you said that was, for example, it's like with our skin, we may purchase products that have humectants in them, and certain hair products have humectants in them that draw moisture from the environment into our hair. But if we're in a very dry environment and the outside environment is drier, like what Miss Dee Dee was saying, it's actually going to cause loss from your skin or loss from your hair. So monitor that as well. What kind of that aloe, I don't know. Aloe was always drying to me. So it may be time to switch to something different as well. Give your hair a break from something and try something a little different. But that climate thing is really important, because I think just as you said, that happens a lot with us. We don't individuate for the climate differences. Penny, let me ask you another question. In that area, is there anything else that you're doing to remove stress? Have you thought about maybe not retightening as often in that area, or or changing anything about your regimen just in that particular area so that you can study that area and see what's going on. Because from what I'm hearing from you, it sounds like your hair is still growing in that area, but once it grows, it starts to break off. Is that what you're saying? She may.
That's correct. I don't think I've retightened often enough. So I've got them done November the 8th. I've done the first retightening January. It was almost the new year. And then I recently, what are we in March? I think 2 weeks ago, because using the oil, it's growing. And I noticed I can't go too long because it'll start thinning. The locks, the base, so I need to probably every 4 weeks retighten it. But I'm
gonna ask one of you ladies that
I don't really
retightening
know.
what you think about that, because you all know I'm not everyone's hair is different, but I'm scared to death of anything below 7 weeks. But everybody's hair is different. What do you all think?
This is Yvette.
Hi,
I used to get mine. Hi. I cannot say enough about you. I started watching you before I even got locks. And this is my 5th year, I think. And I used to go every 4 weeks until I saw you say, wait up, hold up, sisters. We do not need to get our hair tightened like that. And so I try to push it out 8 weeks. And by then I'm constantly separating because my hair grows fairly fast. But getting your hair locked every 4 weeks, you might end up putting more pressure on your hair. And because you're pulling on it when it gets, that's what happens when you get a retightening. So you may be putting more damage on it going the 4 weeks. And there might be something that you can do to try to lengthen your time getting it done, because the less your hair grows faster, the less opportunity to put your hands in your hair, so to speak. And so when you're pulling on it and everything else, I think it puts a strain on it. So I would suggest trying to find a happy medium instead of going that every 4 weeks, because like I said, I used to go religiously every 4 weeks. And I live in Maryland and I drive all the way to New Jersey to get mine done, because my loctician is not a diehard Sisterlocks person. She listens to me. I will say she doesn't do any styling, which is probably a very good thing. And my hair has not been pulled because I've never put it up in a style or anything. I just basically, if I do anything, it's up on top of my head in a bun. That's probably the most effort that I put in styling my hair, because the less you pull on it, the less breakage happens. So yeah, I would, if I were you, Penny, I would try to lengthen that and see if you can with the Melanin Magic and keeping it moisturized. Where do you live? What part of the country do you live in?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Girl, get you some rose water.
Rose water. Okay.
Rose water. You will be surprised to how it keeps your hair moisturized. I use rose water, and I also used at one point I was mixing a little vegetable glycerin, rose water, and some I don't know, I'm trying to remember what the oil was that I used religiously. Now I just use religiously Melanin Magic, but and I put it in a spray
it's
bottle.
Amazing.
And spray it, and that helped to keep the moisture in your hair, which helps to keep it softer, and which will then keep you, I think, help you to lengthen your times you have to go in to get it retightened.
Okay.
If you could, I tell you, Tunisia did not lie when she said to try to make that every time you get retightening, it really, really works.
Yeah, because y'all, there's like 50 things that we do that hurt our hair. So the more of those things we can eliminate, the better off we're gonna be. It's like you were saying, Yvette, we handle our hair a lot. That's why you can look at men's locks and they outpace our locks because they do very little. But we're
Yeah.
always, like my ends, my hair should be much longer, but I'm always fooling with my ends. I'm always picking. I'm always doing stuff. So I may lose a half of an inch. I might be picking something up here and thin it out and just pull the rest off because I got this OCD thing going on. So yeah, the whatever we can eliminate in the mix in terms of putting stress on our hair, the better off we're going to be. But getting on top of those retightenings and figuring out what works for us, like Miss Dee said, and not necessarily what works for your loctician, that's going to be a major plus. Miss Sheila, did you have something else you wanted to ask? I see your hand.
I was just saying, if anyone is in Baltimore, Maryland, I do have a referral for a loctician, so let me know and I could put her info in the chat.
Please put it in the comments.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
That's something we really need, a network there to
and-
be able to swap those names out, just in general. We
She's
need help with
mobile.
that.
And she's mobile. She would be willing to come to you.
Oh, that's amazing. Please put her in. Please
I'm
put
putting her in right now.
Mhm.
That's why I have to put on my glasses. Hold on.
I see Miss Celise and Miss Linda. I just realized that was who you were. Hey, I have a question. Ladies, do y'all have questions? Please hop in if you have questions before I start asking. I got a couple of questions I wanted to ask, but if you have questions, please help yourself. Just take yourself off mute and chime in.
Tanisha, I just had something to offer that may help. One thing that I do, I have a sensitivity in that same area. It is the slowest growing area of my head and the most coarse, tangly, always breakage there. May not be the same reasons that Penny has, but what I do is I use that vibrating shampoo scalp massager, 5 minutes every day in just that area. And since I got my locks, I became more just focused on it because I didn't want my locks growing in and having that same issue with that hair, not growing and not or breaking off. And right now, that hair growth is keeping up with the rest of my hair. It's still a little shorter than the rest of my hair because the rest of my hair started at about 6 inches when that was about 5 inches when I started my locks. So it's still about an inch difference. But in the 6 months that I've had my locks, that hair growth has been keeping up. And I really attribute that to massaging literally the top back of my head 5 minutes every day religiously. And that growth, just bringing that blood flow and nutrients to that part of the hair. I don't do massage on my whole scalp, just that one area 5 minutes a day. And it's made a difference for me. It may be something that Penny might want to consider as well.
Carla, I love that. I think that's invaluable advice because you're getting everything, you're getting that circulation going. You're massaging those follicles. And
I think it's helping my whole scalp, but you know what I mean? I'm focusing it in that one area.
I think that's great. That's one of the best things we can do. A lot of times we'll even put the oils in, but we don't take the time to massage, and that makes a big difference. That's excellent idea. As you're bringing back to life almost whatever, and you're easing some of that inflammation by doing that. Okay, we see the lock referral for Baltimore, Maryland. Is there anyone on here that does locks? Please remember to place your information in the chat because anyone in this room may need it or they may travel to your area. And also when it's placed on YouTube and people see it over time, they can look in the chat and they may be able to reach out to you as well. That's kind of important. Even if you are someone who is locking your own hair and you're comfortable perhaps trading out locking someone else's hair, sometimes when we lock our own hair, we're very conscientious and we're very tender because we've taken all those things under advisement, and we are more able to help someone who may have trouble finding a loctician, but is also doing their own hair and capable. Sometimes you can switch off. You just never know. I think we're missing a network here, and that's kind of important. Miss D, I wanted to ask a question. You were talking about a lot of the people who come to you are people who have had troubles coming from somewhere else, and they come to you to kind of help them, you know, get their hair back on track. What are some of the things that you see that are problematic when they come to you?
Definitely thinning locks. And when I mean by thinning locks, like there's the end of the lock looks regular, then it's held by a string, and then they have started retightening in between. So how did it change like this, and how come nobody said anything? Another one are falling locks. Like one minute they had the lock and I'm like, well, did you save it? They said, oh, I don't even know that it came out. And another one is the scalp, the parts are getting wider because of over retightening, and their hair every place else is like seems to be great, but there's a section where there's the top, where there's a side, there's a back, and you notice that it was set, the sections are getting wider and wider, and it's like, they didn't tell you this, you didn't notice that this was happening. She's like, I felt like it was a little thin when I washed it, but they didn't say anything, so I didn't say anything. And it's like, you can't not know your hair just because somebody else is doing it. So that's some of the things I noticed. And then also with color, I've noticed, I had a client and she just was able to finally get the back retightened, but she was getting the color. And I think maybe because it was in the back of the head, maybe the colorist couldn't rinse it out properly. And so all of that hair broke, and not the hair, like the locks all fell out. Hair was still growing, but the locks had fell out. And I'm like, nothing changed. No other area of your hair was affected by this color in that way. So I'm thinking, because you laid back in the shampoo bowl, maybe they didn't get that area as good as they should have gotten it, because it was like the size of a golf ball of hair that was gone. And so what I would do is I would keep cornrowing it until it grew long enough for somebody to start them. I don't start locks, I just retighten them. So when it got long enough for her to get it started, I said, look, it's long enough now, you better go get it restarted. So she has been able to do that. So you have to watch color, and we can't just go to anybody that says they color hair. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and I do not color hair. That's not what I do. So you have to go to somebody that's what they do.
I have
Can y'all hear me?
I'm sorry, go ahead. Who was that? Someone was going to say something.
That's me, Keena Mitchell.
Okay.
I'm up here as Keena Mitchell and Keena Bell. Hello.
Hey, I see you twice, girl. Hey.
I'm so in love with all you beautiful women. I love locks. I'm always complimenting everybody. You make me want to move to Southern California.
I know,
I want to be your neighbor. And I keep looking at pictures. Guys, my hair fell out. My locks were thinning. I had space. Tanasia, check your Instagram, because I stink at trying to upload things. So I sent to your Instagram a grid of the space that Dee was just talking about, where my hair was so open and my locks were so tiny. And it was my birthday, July 26th of 22. I was going to cut my hair off. And literally, I was just disgusted by my pictures. I used to have color on my tips. Before my mom left, she wanted to dye my hair. And I think I turned another age. She goes, oh, you got to dye it. Before she left here, and I'm not going to take too much time because I could be winded, she said, that hair is going to fall off. It's not going to work. I said, Mom, why isn't it going to work? She said, it's dry. You can't listen to those people. We don't have that type of hair. We need moisture. Hadn't met Tanasia yet. Hadn't run across her. So on my birthday, back to my birthday, I went to my aunt's house and I said, my hair is horrible. It's falling out. It's getting thin. It's just leaving. Well, honey, I am Melanin Magic. When you start your commercial, I want to be with you and your girls. I need to be in a commercial. If Tyler Perry don't want me, girl, get me. I want to be in a commercial because she said, don't use the serum, ladies. Use it where you need it, honey. I just started kneading it, and I was just rubbing and praying and rubbing, and I got some locks now. They're thin, but you know, they came back. Like they grew longer. And my loctician, the one that was like, oh, you're putting this oil and whatever, she said, oh, your hair is really growing. I said, I am Melanin Magic. And I just sat back in the chair and let her begin to retighten. But everything that you're saying, I have these spaces. I don't know, ladies, if you can see, I have long, I have babies, I have brand new locks, and I got my locks in 2018. I'm 5 years in and my hair shouldn't look like this. My hair should be full. My girlfriend got her locks after me. Her hair is to her bosom. It's full, but everybody has different hair. Yes, my hair is always thin. I went on a journey of being vegan, so that could have taken from me. I found out that my iron was completely low. So I've been educating. Tanasia, you are amazing. You are an educator. I have your book. I also have your book. I have your oils, and I'm continuing to get them because whatever you did, I'm gonna get me some Onsi child. Whatever you did, it really added. It filled the spaces, ladies. So when she gets it up on her thing, she's going to post it, and you guys can see that the oil really works. But everything you're saying, I have these spaces where they're thick at the bottom and thin. No one talked to me about my locks.
Wow. Now, kinda, you said on my Instagram, I'm so off.
It's butterfly transformations.
Oh, is that one?
You need to
Okay.
also need
Oh.
a lock page.
I had one. It was called. It's one out there, but I don't know the name.
But you're
of it.
busy. You're busy.
You
I
do.
work a lot of hours, and ladies, we all are busy. I'm loving on everyone, and I love you, D, because you're straight up. Listen, I don't do that. I'm not going to tell you that's what needs to be done. I'm going to
have Miss D on here more. Miss D.
Right. But Tanasia, when the Sisterlock Mafia, I think I was down with them because no one talked to me.
Right.
This is the most information I've had since I've been on your page and since I subscribed to you. And, you know, that was the best money I spent. I'm looking at my jars now. I'll be shaking it up like, I got to get up here and get my oil because I live by that. Yes. Ladies, my husband will tell you, I'll be up and I just be, and I do a little prayer with it. I love your book. It's very, you are just amazing all the way around the board. I'm
God
sure
bless you. I appreciate you. I really do. I was looking for you.
Yes,
I was giving you a call out when I first came on, and I was like, I see her in the comments all the time. I know her. That's
you, and I feel like I know you too. And D, I watch your thing twice. I don't never watch people twice. But girl, you was like, I tell my clients, I start using that product on my clients, and that's good to want to share and promote each other. When you ladies did your interview, she was so happy to meet you, and you were so happy to meat her, and that was the love as a race of people that we need. That's just that was just
love. I have love for
confident
all
on
of
it.
y'all. Okay.
I said that was so beautiful how you ladies came together, and even
It
today, you know, my husband wanted to date me tonight. I said, wait, I gotta go on with Tanisha first, so we gonna go out after. Yes. And I was struggling between my phone and my computer because I never really use it. I said, I could do Zoom on my Apple. I'm gonna get down there. We're gonna make it work. So I was two places. I was here and there.
Okay, that's why you showed up twice.
Honey.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am. I'm just loving you. I'm gonna let y'all go. But everything you said, like I was sweeping my hair up literally on the floor. If I showed you guys pictures of my hair, how long my hair was, and I think I had a spirit over me that wasn't pure. And when she did my hair, I felt bad. And she didn't really talk to me about my hair. And it was growing. She did me nice, she did me quick, but her essence wasn't my essence, and we didn't match. And I left her. Then I went to another lady. She did me twice. I was just bouncing all over the place. And right before I took a scissor to this stuff or a razor and went back to my curly fro, I came across Tanasia thanks to my aunt. She Googled, she went on YouTube and she put in hair loss, and I've been watching you. I've been binge watching you like a soap opera.
So cute.
So thank you so much.
I appreciate you. That's a heck of a story though, because I say, y'all, when we that stuff can sneak up on you for one thing, but then when you start losing hair, it's traumatizing. When I lost all my hair before the Sisterlocks journey and it was just coming out like this,
I was
I'm
crying.
too traumatized to watch it keep coming out week after week. I said, I got to cut it out. We got to just cut it, because if not, I'm going to be traumatized just watching it. I mean, I could do like this and I would have long pieces of hair in my hand, and it's mortifying. That's not the kind of thing you want to deal with if you can avoid it, you know? And it's
As
something
a
you
woman.
said, something else you said, and Dee mentioned it too, with the thinning, well, the scalp, the spaces in between. And I want to say this because hair loss is insidious. It happens a little bit at a time. It's like we say, faith is eroded a little bit at a time, right? You know, first you take a sip, then you take a bottle, and then before you know it, you're doing something else. With the hair loss, it can happen so slowly. You might think it's something you'll see right away. You may look up and then you say, I think it's thinner, but I'm not really sure. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. If you think you have a particular area of your hair of concern, take a few pictures of that area, mark that area some kind of way, and you can figure out a lot of different ways to mark a piece of an area of your hair. But mark it, take pictures, and slowly begin to observe, because sometimes it can happen so slowly that you don't notice, or you can find yourself justifying something and saying, well,
Ladies, wait a minute. I'm going to put this on the camera just to show you. I don't know if you can see.
yeah,
That is horrifying, honey. But thanks to Miss Tanasia, we're going to get to how it's looking, how it gradually began to come back. I've been dying to show you.
wow. Oh,
I'm going to show you the back part. When I tell you, girl, I was just crying every day. Look, I'm promoting you. I'm sending you out to people through tags via text your card.
oh my goodness.
I'm like, girl, my sister Tanasia, she gonna hook you up. You gonna have some hair. You're not gonna be bald.
Or something else. Wow.
I'm
wow.
coming, y'all. I'm coming. to
He's
see you.
making you
I'm coming.
blush.
I'm
You're
know
making
I'm
Tanisha
coming.
blush.
Like a
But,
crazy
but lady, I'm telling you, thank God for that serum. And I was laughing because she said, put it in areas, girls, and rub it. Girl, I was like, man, I'm about to put this all over. And I started putting it all over. And I used the hair oil and the serum. And you see, I am not bald in between. I don't have that anymore. That was less than 6 months ago, Tanasia, please. That was 6 months ago. It's not here anymore.
That's a serious recovery.
Girl, you better make that. You better do what you do. You
That's-
got me.
That's major. I really appreciate you sharing that. I didn't know
I
that.
share you with everyone. I share your page. I share your product. I share your book. And, that's how we're going to grow as a people. We may not get everything back, but we're starting today to recover the loss of love amongst our sisterhood.
Sisterhood. I mean, come on, y'all, the sister, because the ones beneath us, them lower generations, they're a little bit off the chain. Right?
I'm just saying. And don't worry, I'm in the medium age group. So I was thinking, maybe I'm getting older. I'm not ashamed, ladies. I'm 47. So I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm getting older and my hair, I don't know. Maybe it's a midlife crisis because I'm medium age child. So I don't know. I'm medium age, honey. I don't know. I'm just in between. But I love you for this.
Anybody in here under 45?
I'm like 65, so 40 is very young.
I'm 39.
Girl.
Amen.
I'm gonna be 66 in July, so yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
43, Shaitel Jones. I hope I said your name right. I think she's babysitting. Tiffany, 42. All right, Miss Tiffany. I saw you early. Where you at, Miss Tiffany? Can we see your hair, Miss Tiffany? Can you say something so we can put the spotlight on you? Shout out to Miss Carla. Carla, you are 60. No. Miss Carla, you are not 60.
That black don't crack for real.
Carla, you are not 60. Like, no way.
Yes.
When you were talking, no way. You are
1962.
Beautiful.
Girl,
Yes. I'll be 61 in August.
please, honey, you are looking.
Yeah. Mama and them, DNA.
Beautiful,
Gene,
They get
the
that all the
gene.
time. I know people tell you that all the time. They got to.
Yeah.
Y'all know that.
But I do dye my roots though. But yeah, the skin, yeah. The skin, yeah, mama them. Mama them.
Tips for us grays who are holding on to their grays. Any tips for us?
Melanin magic. My little grays went away.
I'm one of her.
Say I love my gray. I don't
But
want to do anything to my gray. I love it.
Yeah, I love my gray too. I just
I'm not
sweat.
doing
I
anything to
sweat in my
gray.
Oh,
gray.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Ooh.
beautiful.
Gray is
Not
beautiful,
doing
especially
anything
when it
to it.
starts coming all over. See, if it's gonna come on me, I need you to come all over at once.
Me
It may
too.
not come all
I got a
over. It
little
may
in
be at the
here, it's
edges.
making me
Me
look like I
too.
got some thin, I got a little over. I'm like, look, come on, y'all, give me all of it gray so I can be proud and gray.
Guys, why did my niece think that my hair was dirty because of my grays coming in? And she goes, why is your hair so dirty? And I was just like,
gives you a complex, don't it?
yes, it does. It gives you a look. You're like, oh, it's my hair.
Y'all are something. Let me see if I have, do any of you ladies have any other questions or comments, things that you want to share?
Tanisha, I just want to say I thank you for your products as well. Because when I first met you, my hair was always been sort of thin up here. And my son said to me, "Ma, I see your scalp." And it's like, okay. And I got your product. And I order from you quite often. But then
at least you've been here since the beginning.
I know. So I started to use it and it began to thicken up. So it's really, just really thicken. And here I had no hair here, hardly ever. And I started to use the product and now it's gray, but I don't care. I love it.
I'm so grateful to you. And for those of you who are Miss Kina, Miss Celeste, and any of you others that are in this chat, I'll be more than happy to send you out a sample of the other one that I'm working on. If you still are, I'm not saying it, I don't claim to cure anything. I just try to put my heart and soul and prayer into the products that I'm making. I know that sometimes one thing can work really well and then something else can work really well for other people. So you all know there's something else I've been working on for some time. And I've been using it on my hair right here for about, I don't know, maybe like 3-4 months. It works a little differently than the magical hair growth serum, but it does stimulate growth.
Oh, good.
And I'm waiting to finish up to get some feedback from some other sisters. And there was a list of you all on the channel. I think it's about 19 of you who I'm supposed to be sending a sample of it out to try. If there's anyone in this chat tonight that is interested in that, please just put your name in the chat and I can go back later. We'll put your name and your address. That would be more helpful. If that's something that you're dealing with, let me know, because it's always good to work with people that have difficult hair cases as well. Because if sometimes the product works well for someone that's a difficult hair case, then that gives even more testimony to what maybe the range of possibilities may be. But I want to thank all of y'all. I appreciate all of you for everything. And I think maybe we should do this more often.
We should do this in person, Tanisha. We need to have an event, an annual event.
We need to have an annual event, y'all. Right now, y'all know I've been taking notes. Annual event.
No shade, but I think I love you, Miss D.
Me too.
I love Miss D. I don't blame you because I fell in love with her from day one.
I was just like, I just love you. And don't take it.
I want to let her do my hair.
True sisterhood.
I know.
That's
I
worth
me and
moving out
Tanisha
there.
talked about it. I'm so bad with the on live thing, and Tanisha, that interview, she kind of pulled it out of me, and I was like, oh, I gotta do more now. So it's coming. Trust me, it's coming.
And I'm gonna be.
And you're from New York too.
I'm from Queens, New York.
What part of New York?
Down more often because you are perfect for even uplifting the loctician community and educating, because
yes,
that is needed. Y'all, we are on the grassroots. Those of us who still go to locticians, some of us have our foot in one world and our foot in another world. For those of us who are still going to locticians, we have to begin talking. We have to begin asking, and we have to begin, like Miss Armeda said, walking with our feet if they can't get it right, because this is trauma. The style of itself, if you weren't doing any retightnings and you were just letting it grow long, it's eventually going to create some hair stress. So we've got to try and really mitigate every other thing that we can control for. If it's within our control, then we have to be on top of it. And those retightenings are within our control, even if we aren't doing them. We have an obligation to speak to these locticians, the consultants, and to help raise the awareness so that eventually they get used to hearing people say, I don't want this to hurt. And they start realizing that it's not supposed to hurt. You know, let it hurt because I'm doing an updo, or I'm pulling my hair tight when I'm doing these twists or something. Let it hurt because of something I'm doing that I can take responsibility for. But we have to be mindful of that. So keep speaking up and speaking out, ladies. Even if you do your own retightenings, but sisters come to you and they're asking you for advice, let them know, you know, talk to your loctician, say this, say that, let them know it hurts, because the more they hear it from the people that are sitting in the chairs, the more they're going to begin, hopefully begin to change the way they approach this whole process.
Well, before I go, because they waiting on me for dinner, Tanasia, less than, I want to say 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend has traditional locks, and she has like an area, and it's like balding, like the hair doesn't grow, whatever. And she said, girl, I got some fuzz in my hair, because I shared a little bit of my serum. I said, girl, I got an extra bottle. I said, now make sure you don't just take my stuff and don't order it. You got to get your own, because I can't be giving you up all my stuff, girl. I need it. So she used it, and her hair is growing within 2 weeks. So whatever God has blessed you with your hands and making your serum, it is really working for people. People can say, oh, you can get some of this or whatever. It's literally working for people. It's really a miracle.
I'm happy to
honestly. She said, hey, I got some hair growing, and even my edges, they were so thin. I just put it on, and I try not to overdo it, but I will give it a squirt. I'm itching. I give my hair oil a spray, and I'm just massaging and praying, child, come over here, do what you got to do, and the hair is coming back.
Ladies, how often are you putting the oil in your hair? I'm just curious, because I wash mine once a week, and I put the oil on it once a week. I'm still on my first bottle.
Girl.
Oh, you only doing it once a week?
You need to put a little more. You need to do a little bit more.
Yeah, what I put on that jar, y'all, is just a guide. It's just a guide, but I want you to figure where your level of tolerance is and what you can tolerate. If you're really trying to grow it, I would say a minimum of 3 times a week, but you want to work your way up. You want to make sure you develop a tolerance to it. And I always say this, I think it's on the label, but I'm not sure. When you put that in, you say a prayer. And you massage it in, and you visualize the hair growth. Do you understand? You have to believe that you have the ability to restore health, and that the body has the ability to self-heal, and that anything is possible. So take that time and send loving energy into your scalp and massage as you put that on. But definitely more than once a week, ladies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't doing enough, because my hair, it is growing. And as I said in my review, when I first got it, I colored my hair. I bleached my hair. And I want to say, I've got silvers. I don't know if you can see my silvers, but I've got half silver and half blonde. And my hair nothing's happened.
And are you Yvette?
No, Linda.
I see your name, Linda. I'm sorry, Miss Linda. I can't see your name.
I don't know why.
Miss Linda, you actually bleached your hair, huh?
Yes, I bleached my hair for years when I was still natural. Always.
You are brave, girl.
Color my hair. And I've done it myself. But when I decided that I wanted to actually lock my hair, I colored it one last time. And you can see I can see the demarcation, and I must say I'm half up, half down, because I'm in the middle of a retie. But when I ordered my oil from you, Tanisha, I actually told you in the review, tell me how much. And I've been using it ever since, but I only do it once a week. So I'm still on that first bottle.
Yeah, since you can tolerate it, go ahead and up that for a full period of time of at least 6 to 8 weeks. Go ahead and try 2 to 3 times a week. You're doing it once a week and it's working fine. Give yourself two more times. Do it every other day right now. You know,
Gosh.
but if you want, and like y'all, when I'm doing the examination and I'm testing my hair first before I give it to anybody's, I'm doing it every day.
Gotcha.
Because
All
the
right.
oils are only concentrated at a certain percentage. Now, if I were to concentrate them more, it would grow faster for sure. But concentration levels over a period of time, I have to be mindful of. So that's why I want to give you something very comfortable to start out with.
Yeah, I did the same thing when I started. And as I start to have more problems, I increased it and it got better. It got a lot better as I increased. And also, can I say one thing? I know we're all talking about growth, but you had made a claim for your oil, Tanisha. And in my head, I believed everything you said except that.
Okay, what was that?
Because of me. Because you said, oh my God, and it eliminates funk. I was like, not my funk. I said, now my scalp funk, she's never encountered my scalp funk. I said, but I will purchase because of the other stuff really outweighed everything.
Right.
But then, when it helped with the funk, that's when I was, I felt like I became a disciple. I was just like, okay, okay. All right. You got me. You got the funk. I'm not the person. I'm not the person with the, because it was an embarrassing thing for me for many years.
Oh yeah, that right in here. Or
yeah, like that.
Everybody knows they have that area of their hair where they have to kind of be mindful, you know?
I know. And even you can smell beautiful, but if your hair, your scalp, it does make a difference. And I always felt a little slightly insecure on that. I'm like, I can smell wonderful, but if I can't get this right, it's not right. And now I'm just like, and when people are like, your hair smells good, I'm like, of course it does.
Y'all are something else. I have Miss Yvette. Where was Miss Yvette? Is this 4302 Hickory Leaf Court? Is this the address for Miss Yvette? I just want to be sure because everyone else is within one full section. Miss Yvette.
It is.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, Miss Yvette. All right, I see you. Okay, got it.
I just ordered some of your unsee. It came the other day.
I know, that's why I was just saying, oh, that's the one. I know who you are.
Oh my God, it's smelling up my house fabulously.
So glad.
Oh, thank you.
Love it. You love it. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies, I want to just thank all of y'all for being here this evening. And I look forward to doing this more often. And Miss D, where are you at, Miss D?
In Los Angeles, California.
Yes, Miss D, I look forward to getting you on here more to assist in raising awareness and answering questions and things for the sisters. I like us to be able to do this more often because I really see you as very elevated in your thinking. And I tend to think it's more of an exception than the rule. I love the way you think. And I think that's really important.
Awesome.
Yeah, I do.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
and it's such an honor to be here, and the ladies are beautiful, and you know I love to share what I've learned. And as long as we're sharing and learning, we can never stop learning. Like as long as you breathing, there's something else to know. Like I don't know everything, but if you know something I don't know, please share, and vice versa. And I love that you set a platform for a community just for that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. I love all y'all. Thank you. Shout out to Tiffany.
Miss D.
I know a lot of y'all on both channels. I just want to say thank you to all y'all. Miss Carla, who's 60. I'm still trying to digest.
Yeah.
I can't even get over that. And oh my gosh, I can't get over it. I don't know what else to say. Miss Sheila, I'll see you on Monday, I guess. And let's see. So many of you other beautiful ladies out there. I'm just going down this list and I'm just so grateful and thankful to all of you. All of you. Miss Celeste, and I miss you, Miss Darlene. I see you, Miss Darlene. I don't see your face though, but I see you here. And Miss Chytil, y'all, Chyteal. How would y'all pronounce that? I want to make sure I'm saying it right. I think she's babysitting. Karen, shout out to Karen. Shout out to Margie. Okay. Lavon. Karen, kitty cat. Okay. Miss all of y'all out there in creation. Darlene Ritter, I recognize that name. Thank you to all of you sisters. And this video is going up, Miss Valerie. It's going to go up. It'll be, what's tomorrow, Sunday? Y'all know it takes me a while to get my act together, but if it doesn't come up tomorrow, Sunday, it'll go up next Sunday. Okay, everyone? Okay. Absolutely. I appreciate y'all. Now, thank you so much just for your support and just being out here in the comments, chiming in, letting me know that you're out there. And then things like this. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting and finding value in I Am Melanin Magic. I'm very blessed through you all in the meeting, and the feeling as though I have sisters all over the place. Like if I go somewhere, I'm like, okay, who's out in California, Miss Didi? Let me look up these women. All of these ones are the ones
You got
out
me
there.
wanna go.
I'm serious, y'all. I'm not playing. I'm serious. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Oh, Miss Chantel Jones, she said I wouldn't have gotten locks if it weren't for your channel. Oh, y'all are just too sweet.
Yes.
Shatil, I think I said it right. Shatil. Okay, she put it in the comments. Ladies, thank you very much. I took a screenshot of a couple of names and addresses. Miss Kina, did you put your name and address in the?
I sure did. Did it come through?
I know you're in my database though, right? Because you ordered.
Yes. Yes, I ordered. I'm about to make an order this week.
Is it the same address?
Yes.
Okay, put your name in there. Well, I got you in the system. I just wanted to be sure.
I'll put it up here.
Okay.
I'll put it up here.
And so is it Bell or Mitchell? Which one are we?
Okay, so when I started my email address, it was Bell, but I married a wonderful man and now I'm Mitchell.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes.
Yes. Thank God. Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We've been married for 8 years now. God is good.
God is
And y'all
really
still
good.
going on dates.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Amen. Yes.
Indeed, the things that you talk to us about are realistic. So that's what makes the channel so good, because the things Tanasia talk about is realistic, like the skinny, and then how it's like these are things we don't know. And then sometimes people are so busy, they don't have time to answer those questions. But for you to talk about it, it makes it real for us. Like, this was a great investment. And although I've had hair loss and problems, I still promote the brand. I said, this was the best investment. I don't need to comb anything. You know, I work for New Jersey Transit, so I'm always out and about, and I work a lot of hours. I don't have time to be combing no hair. So I thank God for my locks, but it's just wonderful to hear that you really know what you're talking about. So if I'm in Cali, you know, I'm like, can you do my hair? Thank you so much. I'm gonna be hunting you down. Yes.
All is
Miss D.
If you go to Goldilocks.
Yes, I wrote it down. Goldilocks. I wrote it down here in my
I
office.
like to say Godlocks, because when you say Goldilocks, people put the L in the wrong place.
Right.
Godlocks.
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 And that's what happens when you touch them. They grow because you put a little love and God up in there. That's what happens.
That's right.
Tanasia said, you gotta rub it in. So while she's talking on her channel, I'll be sitting here rubbing like, yes, girl, because I'm bald. What is happening? Okay.
Is it Goldilocks 1 for Instagram if they want to reach out
for
to
Instagram?
you?
Yeah, for Instagram, there's a 1 at the end.
I just put it in the chat, everyone. Okay. I love all of you all. Thank you so much.
Good night.
Soon. I
Good
appreciate
night.
everyone.
Have a great one.
Bye.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, JJ. Good night, Thelma. Good night, Michael. Good night, John.
Good night, Tanisha.
That's hilarious.
Oh, we got to go. Wait. I got to. Okay, I just want to.
Hey ladies, do you love the way your skin looks and feels? I know I do, because I am using the I Am Melanin Magic Anti-Aging Serum. And at 50, I love the way my skin looks and feels. This blend is bomb. It renews, revitalizes, rejuvenates, soothes, conditions, moisturizes, tones, brightens, and fades all in one step. So if you're ready to get your glow on, go get you some I Am Melanin Magic Anti-Aging Serum.
If you struggle with acne during your youth or even as an adult, it's time to give I Am Melanin Magic Acne Serum a try. Unlike other harsh products that dry out your skin, our oils balance and purify, helping to heal inflammation. All natural and formulated to meet the requirements of melanated skin. You'll see results in no time. Don't delay. Order yours today.
Do you have dark spots from skin irritation? How about unsightly marks from acne that's lasted way too long? Fade Magic can help you find your way back to radiance over time. Don't delay, order yours today.
If you are not using Melanin Magic Hair Oil, then what are you using?
Hi, I'm the creator of the I Am Melanin Magic Skin and Hair Care brand. The I Am Melanin Magic Hair Oil is our premium product. It is the leading high-end supplement for your mane.
It reduces breakage and promotes growth and can be used on all hair types and looks, from straightened hair and microlocks to wigs and protective styles.
It's antifungal, antibacterial, and it's anti-funk, so you know you're protected.
It softens and conditions your hair, and it's anti-frizz too.
Hey guys, so I started using this oil called I Am Melanin Magic since February of this year, and check out the new growth. Like, it's insane. Not only did it help with my new growth, but it smells amazing too.
See the dramatic improvements Denisha has made after not having hair around her edges for 3 years. Tanya's hair had been like this for almost 20 years, and while getting injections. Her doctor said it was scarred and would never grow back. After 4 weeks of using I Am Melanin Magic, this is what she looked like. I Am Melanin Magic did this to Danette's hair after a short time.
This is really all your hair needs. It's rich with antioxidants, loaded with growth-promoting ingredients. Look at the growth of my hair. It's amazing. The product speaks for itself. Order yours today and don't delay. Don't delay, purchase yours today.
I Am Melanin Magic, and so are you.